Hello, everyone. Again, I'm here with Troy Coffin talking about the election. And I have some questions that I want to follow up with Troy. Troy, as you know, I would like to ask you a few more questions. We talk about the economy. You says is one of the key issue. So, and depends on the state, like you says. So, in some of the states, I mean, you believe that maybe the economy is the key issue in all the states, correct?
Absolutely. Well, not all the swing states. I think the economy is key to the Midwest swing states. Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. I think the key issue in Nevada and Arizona, obviously, is the border crisis.
Okay, that's a good point. So, you think the role of social media is gonna shape or shaping the public opinion and this election cycle? You think social media is gonna play a role?
I do think it's going to have an impact. I especially think it works in Trump's favor because, you're always going to have people like Taylor Swift and Beyonce and Cardi B and Hollywood celebrities, actors and actresses, musicians, whatever, are all going to be out stumping for the Democrat, no matter who the Democrat is, whether it's Biden, Harris, Obama, whoever it is. But this election cycle is different because you got Robert F. Kennedy Jr., you got Tulsi Gabbard, you have people that are former Democrats who are on board on social media. Elon Musk is having a big impact. You have a lot of big name people who have either been previously been independents or they've become or former Democrats who have become Republicans that are stumping very hard for President Trump this time around. So I actually think the social media is trending in Trump's favor, not against him.
So, what strategies are candidates using to engage the younger voters?
Um, I think a lot of it has to do with being able to afford housing. A lot of young people, 23, 24, 25, 26, graduated college and at some point had dreams of getting married or, having their own home, starting a family, whatever their priorities may be. But I think, being able to afford to buy a house is a key issue for a lot of young people. Unfortunately, in 2022, that issue was abortion, but fortunately, that issue's kind of gone away and we can focus on the economy now. And I think really you got to get out there and convince young people that a lot of young people are like, oh, abortion. Well, personally, I'm a pro-life person, but for people that do see that as a top issue, we kind of got to remind them what the key issues are. And unfortunately, like I said about like how Arizona, Nevada, the key issue is border patrol, obviously. Um, in Michigan, here in Michigan, we don't have that issue. And a lot of times we have to face the fact that people are very self-centered. A lot of times they tend to, well, not even so much self-centered as opposed to people have to see how something impacts their life in order for them to vote on it. And you got to really remind young people about, being able to afford a house and being able to pay for gas and being able to buy groceries, things that personally affect them, because obviously it varies state to state based on what affects them, because the border crisis isn't as big of an issue here as, say, Arizona. So that makes a big difference.
So, true. Troy, what are the challenges that the Donald Trump is facing with misinformation? I mean, you see, it's a lot of ads on Facebook, social media, TV, streaming TV, where they're talking about the Trump is this, Trump is that, that the economy is better now. I mean, obviously, I don't know if some people believe that or not, but what do you think is the real challenge for Donald Trump to face this misinformation?
I think the biggest challenge for Donald Trump is the fact that 93% of, or whatever that percent, the percent actual number is, I'm not quite sure, but very high percent of all media is Democrat leaning. So there's very few conservative broadcast networks that have the ability to get conservative viewpoints out by the masses like the Democrats have the advantage of.
How do you perceive the importance of debates? Do you think that debates influence voter decisions for independence, or you think people's is some people that is no influence the debate at all?
I think the talking points make a big difference. People don't tend to sit and watch the entire debate, but when they see the reels on Facebook and the shorts on um, Instagram and whatever, TikTok, those little sound bites do make a big difference. They do, steal over a couple of swing voters here and there. So yeah, I think that the sound bites within the debate itself make a big difference. Yes.
In your opinion, Troy, what are the most significant factors that could swing the undecided voters? It's maybe some undecided voters and can swing Pennsylvania, Arizona, Nevada, Michigan, Wisconsin, North Carolina. They are the swing states. What are the most significant factors for you that can swing undecided voters?
Like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with things that personally affect that individual, such as or targeting key groups, such as the layoff here in Michigan. I think the Chrysler Stellantis layoff, we have a huge opportunity to win over some of those voters who are historically Democrat, because a lot of them tend to be unionized. So you have a lot of EV laid off employees who could very well be won over if we, you know, present to them the right topics. So, you gotta think long and hard about the people you're trying to reach and the things that they've been through and their personal experience, because people vote on their personal experience. You know what I'm saying? So go
Troy,
ahead.
so before we finish, quick question right here. I want to take a guess because you're a very good political analyst. Who's going to win Arizona, Trump or Harris?
Trump.
Nevada,
I believe Donald Trump will win Nevada as well.
North Carolina,
I think that Donald Trump has that secured because the Biden/Harris administration did such a horrendous job dealing with the hurricane and the storms that swept through there.
Georgia,
I believe Trump will win Georgia.
Pennsylvania.
I tend to think that, like I said before, I tend to believe that Trump will overperform in Pennsylvania because that's where the assassination attempt took place. And whenever a world-changing event happens in your backyard, you feel differently about it. You see the situation differently. And so I
Ohio.
believe,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, and so you see the situation differently. You'll see your role in it differently. And so I think the Pennsylvania voters will see their role in it differently and vote for Trump.
Ohio,
Donald Trump.
Michigan.
JD Vance will have a big impact in Ohio. Michigan is a coin toss. I'm not going to. I don't want to commit to saying Trump's going to win Michigan but I think he's got a 50-50 chance. I think I really do think it's a coin toss. Whoever wins Michigan, it'll be by a slight margin, like 50.8 to 42, 49 point whatever. So I think that's up in the air. I can't
Wisconsin,
confirm. Wisconsin, I believe Trump will win. Yes.
Florida.
President Trump will win Florida.
Wow, very good. I just wonder, do you think it's going to be any surprise that any blue states will flip?
I'm not really sure. Surprised. I mean, so much is up in the air at this point. I'm pretty much, you can all but assure that New York and California will go blue, and places like North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Montana will go red. I think the biggest swing state to look out for is Michigan. And one of the key factors of Michigan is you got to remember that our state Supreme Court didn't take RFK off the ballot. So even if 30,000 or 40,000 people vote for RFK because his name is on there, that alone could make a difference. So that's why I don't want to predict Michigan, because I don't know.
Okay. All right, Troy. Finally, so with what your guess about, it seems like Donald Trump is going to win. I cannot ask you that question because you can answer by telling me what states Trump is going to carry on the election.
I truly believe Donald Trump is going to win this election.
Now, what happens if Harris win? You think the economy things is going to change like he promised, or is going to continue the status quo?
I think for the time being, things will kind of continue to be like they are, but long term, I think there's going to be longer term consequences. I think that young people will continue to not be able to afford buying houses. I think the gas prices will go up again. You won't be able to buy groceries. I think we'll have a continuation of what we're living like now. We can't live like this forever. That's
Okay, Troy. But if Donald Trump win, you are confident the economy is gonna get much better, how it was before in 2016, 2020? What do you think?
I absolutely think that. I also think that Trump will create peace in the Middle East. I think he'll figure out what's going wrong between going on with Israel and how I think he'll lend a helping hand to Israel and the Jewish people. So I think the Jewish people will be very fortunate to have President Trump in office again. And I think Trump will start to hold these countries accountable that have ripped us off for the last 30, 40 years, like China and um,
Mhm.
putting tax on tariffs. And he's not going to let these he's not going to let these companies, I meant to say, send their um, he's not going to let them just go to, say, Mexico without tariff or imposing strict tariffs on those companies that are taking away American jobs. So I think Trump's going to do a lot of good for the American people, especially the hardworking everyday American.
And my last question before we finish, Troy. I promise is my last question. Again,
Absolutely.
people should vote a straight ticket, or conservative voters should vote for an individual candidate on the ballot.
Well, like I said, my first time voting was in 2016, and I voted straight red that time. And I'll be honest. Well, ever since then, I've always, voted down the line individually because, like I said, I've been told by people that have more knowledge than me on the situation that it's better to vote, line by line. And I tend to vote line by line, anyways. Like I said, but I also like I or yeah, like I said before, I believe that you vote straight red, then you missed it. You see a name, you're like, oh. Even if you're not thinking about it, you see, say, Mike Rogers, and you vote for him, or you see Donald Trump and you vote for him. If you voted straight red, then you fill out an extra, or you fill out a bubble next to a person's name. It could invalidate your vote. So I think it's best to just play it safe and vote line by line. That's my opinion.
Good. Well, thank you, Troy. I appreciate you again for your time and for being a good patriot. You care about our country, you care about America, and thank you for all you're doing to help the Republican cause, and especially helping President Trump to get elected again. We need
Well,
his help
thanks.
for sure, and thank you.
Well, thanks so much for having me on your show.
Thank you,
Always a
Troy.
pleasure.
Thanks. Bye-bye now. And thank you, everyone. And don't forget to please to subscribe in our channel and give us a like. And please, we would like to see your comments. And, we'll reply all your comments, questions about the show, and everything. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.